talking about the traps there, obviously the traps is a massive thing in Saw, and as the franchise progresses, that's what the big selling point of these films were.
Mm,
I think the storylines are way too convoluted, and
mm,
they're trying to go back in time. There's like they sort of do a bit of a prequel in some of them, and they go back through different times. And when they bring new characters into it, a lot of these new characters they don't land well and they don't stay with us. Um,
hmm
but the traps are the one thing that we sort of always go to see. I'm still a big fan of just the OG traps. Like I love the bear trap, and
Yeah.
as I said, I love the escape room in part two. What are some of your favorite traps, Lisa?
Oh, I like the bloody gory ones. Um, it used to be the angel trap until I rewatched them again. Now, the woman that dies in that is the policewoman, Detective Carey. I don't know if you
Hmm.
remember that one, and she
Yeah,
has to
yeah.
get the key from acid, and then I just felt her character was completely pointless and dull. So I quite enjoyed that one because it got rid of the character.
Is that the one where her rib cage gets pulled
Yes,
apart? Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But the ones that make me cringe the most, which means they're effective, is the pendulum trap, where the big pendulum comes down and it gets
Hmm.
lower and lower and
Hmm.
goes through the person's middle eventually. That's just hideous. And the one I spoke about earlier, the twisty one, with the guy that was responsible for an accident that killed someone's son, that
Hmm.
twists his arms and legs. And one that
Yes.
didn't actually happen, which was in Saw 3D, is Saw's wife at the beginning has a nightmare and it's called, what's it called? Train pain or something, or the pain train.
Hmm.
And she sees this thing like a small train coming towards her with a big like a V-shaped blade at the front. And she's like chained up and this thing just goes into her really, really fast. I think it's Hoffman is doing it in her dream.
Hmm.
And it just completely sounds awful. The effects in that, the gnarly scene that was left behind, my mouth was open. It's like, oh my God, can we put that back and slow that down to see how they've done this? Some of the stuff, I'm just a gore hound,
Hmm.
but the effects in that one was my favorite, and it never even happened. Then she woke up and it was a nightmare. It's like, oh, for God's sake. Yeah, I think if I had to say my favorite, it's going to be the rack, the twisty one.
Yeah, we did an article a couple of years ago on the website where we picked our 10 favorite Saw traps, and we didn't do it in order. We just picked 10. The
Yeah.
rack is on there from Saw 3. It was brutal because I remember the bone crunching sound
Oh, it's
of
horrible, isn't it?
his head twisting around and
Yeah.
screaming and stuff. We have obviously the bathroom we just put in as kind of one. It's not really a trap, but we did it. The ice block from Saw 4 as well, where Donnie dies on the ice block. The pendulum we have in there, you said you didn't really like that one, but I think because
No,
that
I
was a...
love that one.
Oh, you do
When I
love it?
say I
Okay.
don't, I mean, what I mean is like anything that I have a visceral reaction, like, oh my God, that's awful. I love it because
Okay.
you know what I mean? It's making me put myself there and imagine, it makes me cringe. I can't sort of remove myself from it. I'm
Yeah.
in there thinking, oh Jesus. No, the pendulum and the rack are my two favorites
Yeah.
of all of them, I
And
think.
the pendulum's a great throwback to the pit and the pendulum as well.
Yeah,
Vincent
definitely.
Price, Edgar Allan Poe. We have the pound of flesh trap in there where they have to cut off parts of their limbs and wet up. I thought it was
Yeah,
pretty gross as
there's a
well.
really big guy at the beginning. You watch it and you see this really, really big guy and then this really petite small
Hmm.
woman who actually got the part. She won one of the Scream Queen series on TV, like, reality TV
Hmm.
Scream Queens.
Yeah, yeah.
She won and that's how she got the part in that movie.
Amazing.
And you think, oh well, she's screwed here. Look at the size of this guy and she's tiny, and then she hacks her arm off.
Hmm.
And it's like, oh my God, you have to give her props for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The razor from Saw 2, which we already briefly spoke about, and
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
knife chair from Saw 6.
Oh yeah, that's horrible.
It's a
Yeah,
good one.
that's the one where he has to push forward and the knives cut
Uh-huh.
his face, isn't it?
Yeah,
That one.
that's a great one.
And then he ends up falling into razor wire anyway when he,
Uh,
he gets out, but he lunges at, is it John? Or is it Hoffman? I think it's John, and he steps to the side and falls into all this razor wire.
and then we have the glass coffin as well from Saw 5 was one of them.
Yes.
That's a good one.